riverbed in the annual Malden Mud Race on Sunday. The race, which was first held in 1973 in the English coastal town of Malden, that's about 30 miles northeast of London, attracts entrants from across Europe who wade through the mud of the River Blackwater at low tide. They dress in their Sunday best to raise money for charity, though at least one competitor found himself without his costume by the end.
That's some thick mud.
I would think that'd be fun.
It might be.
It looks like a lot of work,
I think people pay a lot of money for that to happen at spas sometimes.
That's right. They do. All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for helping. You're here all week.
I'll be back.
We'll see you back here tomorrow. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.
And right now at 5, local law enforcement is cracking down on speeders after seeing an increase of speeding drivers on the Beltline.
And a warning tonight following a Craigslist apartment scam in the Dells. We'll tell you what you need to know.
Channel3000.com at 5.
And thanks for staying with News 3 Now. The town of Madison is cracking down on speeders on the Beltline. Officer pulled over 5 high-speed drivers this weekend.
One of those drivers was caught going 105 miles an hour. Our Amanda Quintana is here with what police are saying. Hi, Amanda.
Yes, well, officers on the Beltline usually catch people going maybe 70, 75 miles an hour. But this weekend, the town of Madison handed out 5 tickets, all of them going way faster than the usual speeders, caught from 24 to 50 miles an hour over the speed limit.
You think you're going that fast?
Dashcam video shows a town of Madison police officer pull over a driver for going 105 miles an hour on the Beltline Friday night.
75? How about 105?
But this wouldn't be that officer's last interaction with a driver going way over the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit just this weekend.
Oh, every spring. It's a common occurrence. People are getting their nice cars out from storage from the winter. And, you know, there's no snow on the ground, so they think it's safer to be able to drive at an excessive rate of speed.
Chief Scott Gregory says the town of Madison usually picks up enforcement a little during the spring, but having one officer give out 5 high-speed traffic tickets in one weekend is pretty odd.
This spring, it just seems to be a little extra fast up there.
That same officer stopping drivers going 79, 81, 92, and 97. Those high speeds have the town of Madison ready to hit the area between John Nolan and Seminole Highway way harder than normal.
We'll be out there. We'll be out there more, and we'll be issuing citations.
That $439 ticket for the man going 105?
He was late for work is what he also told the officer.
That's nothing compared to what could have happened if he wasn't stopped.
It's not worth that 1 or 2 extra minutes you're going to save in your trip to put your life in danger or put somebody else's life in danger. How would you feel if you are in an accident or cause an accident and someone is seriously injured or killed? It's just not worth it.
As for the other drivers, their tickets ranged from $150 to $375. Even though seeing all of these high speeds is pretty shocking for all of us, the chief says this just proved what he already knew, that people speed on the Beltline.
105 miles an hour, though. Holy smokes. All right. Thank you, Amanda.
Thanks, Amanda. The Dane County Sheriff's Office is investigating the death of a 17-year-old boy. Deputies were called to 4617 Dennis Drive. This is in the town of Burke, 11:30 p.m. Friday night. This was regarding an unconscious male who was not breathing. And despite life-saving efforts by friends and emergency responders, the boy was pronounced dead at UW Hospital. Cause of death has not been determined. The medical examiner's office has conducted an autopsy. They did so on Saturday. Investigators are still waiting on results.
A 26-year-old Belmont woman is dead after a rollover crash in Iowa County last night. A caller reported a single vehicle rollover crash right around 10 p.m. on State Highway 80 between Cobb and Highland. The driver, Heather Fishnick, was the only person in the car at the time of the crash. The Iowa County Sheriff's Office is still trying to determine a cause for that accident.
Madison Police Department called OSHA investigators to respond to the 1300 block of West Badger Road this morning after an employee was taken to a hospital with life-threatening conditions. Officials there said the worker was unloading a semi, was found unconscious. The man was trapped between a large cart and the side of the truck. Investigators are looking into whether it was a work-related injury or if perhaps the man suffered some sort of a medical emergency. A
Madison man is in custody for allegedly waving a knife at a woman on the city's west side. That 18-year-old victim told police 20-year-old Taquan Wiley nearly stabbed her inside a Hammersley Road home. Officers found Wiley hiding under a pile of clothes at the residence. One officer was injured when they tried to arrest Wiley. He later told police he was fighting with that woman because she had stolen from him in the past. Wiley could face multiple charges, including second-degree reckless endangerment.
Well, let's get a look at your first alert weather now. Pretty nice start to our work week. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joining us on the weather patio. Gary?
We need a few more days like this. Temperatures are pretty comfortable, and they'll actually get a little milder over the next few days. In fact, I'm looking for high temperatures right around 70 degrees or above for the rest of the week. As we look at visible cloud track, plenty of sunshine today. That was nice to have. On Doppler track, very little in the way of precipitation anywhere across the Midwest. Across southern Wisconsin, of course, not a drop of rain around. That's good news. Low temperatures were chilly this morning. Here in Madison, we dropped to 33. A few places were below freezing up in the northern parts of our viewing area, but high temperatures so far today have been between about 65 and 70 over much of southern Wisconsin, away from Lake Michigan. Closer to the lake, temperatures have only reached the mid to upper 50s, and that's where temperatures are now, very close to those high temperatures for the day. By tomorrow morning, temperatures will drop into the lower 40s, so an improvement over what we saw this morning. Look for skies to gradually turn partly sunny tomorrow. Just a slight chance for a shower late in the afternoon. High temperature will top out at 69 degrees. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. A former Madison man who made bombs inside a far west Madison apartment complex is sentenced to 2 years in prison. 31-year-old Brian Campbell's activities inside the Timberlake Village apartments back in February of 2018 evacuated the complex for 5 days. A neighbor had called authorities after smelling something burning. Inside Campbell's apartment, police found dangerous chemicals, time delay fuses, pipes and caps, and 2 constructed pipe bombs with fuses attached.
We are all fortunate that no one was physically harmed by Mr. Campbell's activities.
I have every desire to move forward with my life and be a contributing member to society.
Again, 2 years in prison plus 3 years extended supervision. Judge Crawford said she could not base the sentence on the unproven claim that Campbell was planning to blow up a building on the UW campus. But as part of the sentence, she permanently banned him from the UW underground tunnel system, saying because he shouldn't be there anyway.
3 students from Poynette are in custody after posting a social media threat for a school shooting. The school district says it first became aware of those threats Saturday morning and worked with police in that area and the sheriff's office as well to identify the students. They did learn the threat was not credible, but did have additional police presence at the schools today to be safe.
My youngest was a little apprehensive about coming to school today. He was not. And then driving up to school here and seeing all the police officers standing at the doorways, I think was a little intimidating for him too. He was kind of nervous when I dropped him off.
The students who created that post now face charges of making a terrorist threat.
A deputy is recovering after a suspect pepper sprayed him in the face. That man was pulled over just after midnight for speeding along Highway 60 in West Point. That's just east of Columbus. The Columbia County deputy walked up to the driver who pepper sprayed him and then drove away. Other officers found that vehicle, which authorities believe had been stolen just before the suspect was stopped. That man was last seen running through yards toward Lake Wisconsin. Anyone with information or security camera footage is asked to call the Columbia County Sheriff's Office. The number there on your screen, 608-742-4166. It is a popular time of the year to be searching for apartments.
But one woman in our area is warning all of us that if an ad for a rental is too good to be true, well, it probably is. Our Madeline O'Neill is back from the Dells with her story and what signs we should all be looking out for when we're apartment hunting. Hi.
Hi, you'll definitely want to keep an eye out. Caitlin Matos Batista is helping her friend find an apartment, and they've been checking Craigslist. When they found an inexpensive house to rent in Baraboo that checked all their boxes, they emailed the lister. Then they started noticing some red flags. The supposed seller had a Florida phone number, told them to ignore a for sale sign in the lawn, demanded an immediate application fee, and when Caitlin asked to see the inside of the place, he said this.
Just go peek in the window. And that's when it was like, okay, something's not right. Nobody would say, just go peek in the window.
Caitlin ended up finding the rental on a popular real estate site. That house was actually for sale, and the realtor had no idea about the scam. The Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection says everything the seller did is a classic red flag. We'll hear more from them on what you can do to avoid this kind of scam, along with the rest of Caitlin's story coming up tonight at 6.
It's amazing what people will say and do.
That one's been
Can you
around.
imagine going to peek in a window like that?
Yeah, not a great way to see your next apartment.
Probably not.
No, I don't think so. All right, Madeline, thank you.
You're welcome.
Maddie. All right, in more local news tonight, to kick off Infrastructure Week, Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes-Conway visited a construction site. The project on North Blackhawk Avenue includes replacing the water main, sanitary sewer, and storm sewer, along with new curbs and gutters to improve drainage concerns in that area. On a local level, Rhodes-Conway says Infrastructure Week serves as a reminder that local municipalities, including the city of Madison, are receiving significantly less funding from the state and federal government than they have in the past, shifting the financial burden.
It's really important for us to keep our infrastructure up to date and make sure we're investing in it so that folks have access to transportation, clean water, the sanitary services that we need.
Rhodes-Conway says the visit reaffirms her commitment to Madison's infrastructure.
If you have ever moved to a new town, you know how difficult it can be to find the good places to go in your area.
Well, one woman in Oregon is trying to make that process as easy as possible for any new residents or anyone who just doesn't know that area. Jamie Perez joins us to tell us who this welcome neighbor lady is in Oregon.
Yeah, so this welcome lady's name is Kathy Grender. She's been doing this for about 11 years now. If you are new to the area or you've just never gotten around to exploring the area, Kathy's your go-to gal. She makes gift baskets filled with freebies. You get gift cards to popular restaurants, gift certificates for free oil changes, gas, and plenty more. She usually meets up with people at the Firefly Coffee House in Oregon. All of this at no cost to the people she meets with.
The people that I welcome, this is a free service, and there's about 45 businesses in here. So the businesses actually donate all the stuff that I give to people.
Kathy says ever since she started doing this, she's made many great and lifelong friends. Plus, it helps people get more acclimated with the area, something she said she's proud that she could help out with. So if you know someone who's interested in getting this Oregon 101 with Kathy, her contact info will be on our website. Or if you own a business in the area and you want to donate something for her gift baskets, you can reach out to her as well.
Yeah, Oregon's a great community. Every community needs somebody like that, right?
Yeah, that would have been so helpful for a lot of us that moved to the town. Like, I wish we had
way
a
out of state or
This is
something.
one of the hardest places to kind of get to know. You know, so many apartments and all that.
I should have moved to Oregon.
You
Had
got-
Kathy.
There you go.
Great
We all need a
community.
Kathy.
Jamie, thanks. More to come on News 3 Now at 5. Up next, former President Jimmy Carter recovering in the hospital. Tell you what happened and how he's doing.
Actress Felicity Huffman pleads guilty to her role in the college admissions scandal. We'll tell you just how much jail time she could face.
Brutal day on Wall Street as the U.S.-China trade clash sent stocks diving. The Dow off more than 617 points. The NASDAQ loses 270. The S&P plummets almost 70. And we'll be right back. Today, Hollywood is mourning the loss of one of its brightest stars of the 50s and 60s.
We're talking about singer and actress Doris Day. She died of pneumonia at her home in California, surrounded by friends. She was 97 years old. She was born Doris Kappelhoff and first gained fame when she landed a recording contract with Columbia Records. She made her final movie at the age of 44 with 6 You Get Egg Roll. She moved to the small screen, starring in the Doris Day Show from '68 until she retired from showbiz in 1973, and after leaving the spotlight, animal welfare became her personal passion. Now, although she never won an Academy Award, she did win 4 Golden Globes and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Former President Jimmy Carter is recovering from surgery after he fell and broke his hip this morning. That's according to the Carter Center. The 94-year-old is at home in Plains, Georgia, while he was on his way to go turkey hunting, the center said, adding that he is, quote, recovering comfortably at the hospital with his wife of 72 years, Rosalind Carter. Now, doctors say the surgery was successful. Jimmy Carter became the oldest living president in U.S. history in March, surpassing the late George H.W. Bush.
A man is behind bars in connection with the disappearance of a missing 4-year-old Texas girl. 26-year-old Darian Vence is accused of tampering with human remains after he reported that 4-year-old Malia had been abducted. Investigators say they found blood linked to Malia inside the Houston apartment that Vence shared with the child and her mother, and evidence someone tried to clean it up. Newly released surveillance video shows him exiting the apartment with a laundry basket, a garbage bag, and bottles of bleach. Prosecutors say they eventually recovered that basket. So far, investigators have not publicly said if they believe Vence killed Malia.
Actress Felicity Huffman will be sentenced in September after pleading guilty to paying $15,000 to rig her daughter's SAT scores. She admitted to paying that money to a fake charity in order to have a proctor boost those scores and help her to get into college. In a statement, the actress had expressed, quote, deep regret and shame, and said her daughter knew nothing about her actions, saying, quote, this transgression toward her and the public I will carry for the rest of my life.
Felicity Huffman is facing guidelines of 4 to 10 months. The judge has every right and ability to give her less than that, including probation and community service.
Actress Lori Loughlin and her husband also face charges as part of this whole college admission scam. They plan to plead not guilty to charges that they paid $500,000 to have their 2 daughters named as recruits to the USC crew team, even though the girls didn't even row. Now, the actresses are among the 33 parents charged with paying college admissions consultant Rick Singer to help their children get into elite universities.
Wisconsin farmers are waiting to see if the president makes good on his promise to help them after China imposed new retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods. As we mentioned, the Dow tumbling more than 600 points today as a result. The tax hikes on $60 billion worth of American-made products are in response to the U.S. raising tariffs on $200 billion of Chinese imports last week. In a press conference this afternoon, the president said he is looking at a $15 billion subsidy for the farmers that will be affected by this latest round of tariffs.
So our farmers can do well, they'll be planting, they'll be able to sell for less, and they'll make the same kind of money until such time as it's all straightened out.
President Trump said he plans to meet with China's president at the G20 next month. He's also ordered starting the process on imposing taxes on another $300 billion of goods that are made in China.
All right, let's get a look at your first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. Gary, you sunburned yet from all of the sunshine out there?
Well, you have to get out to be able to enjoy it for a while. I wasn't quite so lucky. I was inside much of the day today, but those who were outside really enjoyed it because you can see we started out with clear skies this morning. That allowed temperatures to fall near freezing. And then you can see these fair weather cumulus clouds popping up. A lot of those will die down tonight, although a few more clouds drifting in from the north and west will keep us partly cloudy and actually keep temperatures up compared to last night. Doppler track right now, very quiet. You can see really nothing across most of the Midwest. A couple of sprinkles up in the northern portion of Minnesota and the eastern portion of South Dakota. That's pretty much it. We expect chances for some showers late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm. But you can see on the latest computer model forecast, very little in the way of rain expected through most of the year. And maybe out to the west where there's a little better chance for a heavier thunderstorm. there could be as much as a quarter to a half inch of rain, but much of southern Wisconsin will probably see less than a tenth of an inch of rain, if that. Live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville. Partly sunny skies there. The WISC Skycam looking out toward the west and southwest right now, showing partly sunny skies. And the Edgewater Skycam at downtown Madison looking at the southern end of Lake Mendota. Very nice out there right now. High today, 65 degrees, just shy of the average high of 68. Low temperature a little chilly this morning, 33. That's actually only 4 degrees above the record low of 29 set back in 1966. Right now we're at 65 with east-northeasterly winds at 5 miles per hour. The air very dry, the humidity at 31%. As we check out low temperatures this morning, many locations across the state away from Lake Michigan were in the 30s. Few places, little pockets in central and northern Wisconsin were in the upper 20s, including Rhinelander at 29. But current temperatures are generally in the 60s away from Lake Michigan. While the lake kept them warmer at night, it's keeping the lakeshore areas much cooler during the day. 55 in Milwaukee compared to 65 in Madison and 67 degrees in La Crosse. And the winds right now pretty light, but what breeze there is in eastern Wisconsin coming in right off of the lake. Upper level winds right now from the north and west, but notice a jet stream heading to the north. That's a sign that the air is starting to warm up farther out to the west, and as that warmer air starts heading in our direction, our temperatures will go up as a result. High pressure located just to our south to keep our weather quiet. The next weather system generating a few showers and a couple of thunderstorms out to the west with a cold front, which really doesn't have a lot of cold air behind it. Temperatures generally in the 70s the farther west you go, and the dew point temperatures in the 30s here, so the air very dry. A little bit of moisture out to the west, but not a terribly lot. So that's why we're not looking for much in the way of rain, at least in the short term. Forecast for tonight calls for skies to become partly cloudy, not as cold, low temperature dropping to 42. For tomorrow, look for a day similar to today with a high of 69, so a couple degrees warmer, just a slight chance for a late afternoon shower. As we check out future track, very quiet for tonight. Temperatures again dropping into the lower 40s. Highs tomorrow, close to 70, then a shower, maybe a thunderstorm chance tomorrow night, and then you can see on Wednesday, temperatures back up into the upper 60s and lower 70s. As we look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, those temperatures generally in the 70s, low to mid 70s, warmest day probably on Saturday. Storm system on Sunday bringing us some showers and thunderstorms. Another storm system in the middle of next week giving us a little better chance of showers and thunderstorms at that time. As we take a look at first alert traffic right now, Beltline not looking so hot at Park Street. Both directions seeing relatively slow traffic there. Eastbound, the delays start around West Broadway and head back to west of Verona Road. Westbound, the delays start around Fish Hatchery Road and go back to just to the east of Park Street. As far as travel times are concerned, almost a half hour in the eastbound direction from University Avenue to the interstate, 18 minutes going back in the westbound direction. If you're heading out of Madison, it's 28 minutes to Janesville on I-3990, 18 minutes to Sauk City on US 12, and 20 minutes to Sun Prairie from downtown on East Washington Avenue, US 151. That's your News 3 Now First Alert Traffic.
Gary, thank you. Ahead on News 3 Now at 5, an eye-opening study on distracted driving. What it reveals about parents who text and drive after a short break. Welcome back. Teenagers aren't the only ones texting and driving.
A new study reveals millennial parents are also taking risks behind the wheel. Nichelle Medina has more from Los Angeles.
Dashcam video shows what can happen when a driver is looking at their phone instead of the road. You admit you're a distracted driver.
Of course, yes. Everyone is. Technology distracts us.
And it's not just younger people. Many parents may be just as guilty. Researchers at Brigham and Women's Hospital surveyed 435 parents across the country, asking them if they use email, social media, and maps while driving. They also asked about their speed while completing the tasks.
Text messaging and other forms of distracted driving were more common among millennial parents than older parents.
I would completely agree with that because millennials are always having to be so up to date on everything that's happening around them in their lives.
The study also found that most parents, regardless of age, admitted to reading and writing texts while driving.
People know it's unsafe, but they have gotten away with it, and so people do it, right? And we haven't found a way to address that.
More than half of those surveyed said they are safer drivers while their children are in the car. 2 out of 3 said they use their phones less than when their kids are in their vehicle. Nichelle Medina, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's latest statistics show that 9 people are killed every day in accidents involving a distracted driver. The study is published in today's Journal of the American Medical Association Pediatrics.
And stay with us. We'll have one final check of your forecast in just a moment.
Here's a look at some of the stories we're working on tonight. China announces plans to raise tariffs on U.S. goods. How much will this trade war cost American consumers? Plus, the growing controversy over facial recognition technology. And breaking records with a dive to the deepest place on Earth. Tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Pretty nice day out there to start the week.
We need more of them.
Yeah, no kidding. Keep them coming.
I'm trying to keep track, and I think we're still owed about maybe 5 or 6. I could be wrong.
At least.
Right.
But today we had sunshine. You can see very little in the way of cloud cover until this afternoon, and even those clouds will die down pretty quickly after sunset. Temperatures very comfortable, mid to upper 60s. Tomorrow they'll be a couple degrees warmer. Still a little cooler near Lake Michigan, but most of us are not near Lake Michigan. High temperatures generally right around 70 or above for the rest of the week, through the weekend, and through most of next week. And we'll see some shower and thunderstorm chances. I think the best chances will probably be Sunday and then Tuesday of next week. But even tomorrow and Thursday, the rain chance is pretty small.
Head in the right direction there. All right, we're back in 30 minutes with more updates on News 3 now at 6. CBS Evening News is next.